It's been an eventful year. That move to virtual has worked remarkably well. We are notorious as an APPG for getting fantastic attendance at our meetings, but when there is a standing room only in crowded committee room 2 in the House of Lords, it can be a little uncomfortable for some of our guests. So I hope what this has done is allow far greater participation. So thank you. But it's not only been quite an eventful year, it's been a quite an eventful 4 years. For those of you who don't know, Tim Clement-Jones and I started this APPG in November 2016 to give AI a voice in Parliament. You will have heard me say this before, that there were many phrases flying around, many of which were misused. And we thought perhaps it would be wise to start to put some flesh to those and begin to understand what the terms meant. But we were a lone voice in understanding, what it meant, what the impact would be for, in my case, constituents, where the UK stood in all of this, what our future might hold. And I'm glad to say that over those 4 years that things had changed an awful lot, both inside and outside of government. I think there is an ever increasing understanding of the implications that AI is going to have on all our lives, the way we work, the way we play, the way we socialize. I think there is a greater understanding of the steps needed to ensure safe development and deployment of AI, and we've heard some of that from Nigel. I think we are beginning to get to grips with what the ethical and regulatory needs and concerns are around some of this technology, which we have explored in some of our meetings. And I think there is now a wide-ranging and ongoing discussion about how citizens can be involved and interact with AI and help them understand what skills they will need as they move into an AI-augmented workplace. I think some of the scenarios we once talked about of complete job displacement are evaporating, but they are being replaced by jobs which will require a different set of skills. And I'm pleased to say that I think the UK, from all the evidence that I hear and understand and see, is still very well placed to take a global role in all of this, in guiding the way we use AI now and in the future. And we explored some of those issues over the summer when we were joined by the Digital Minister, Caroline Dinenage. And I certainly got a sense from her, and I hope that those who were also at the meeting did, that she was certainly on top of her brief and seemed to understand and confirm, indeed, the government's commitment to AI in all its various forms, and that we want to play a global role in this. And I think Tim touched upon some of that. Of course, it's also part of our new industrial strategy. AI will be there. And I think it is becoming a far more recognised and important subject that is being discussed more widely by those not necessarily previously involved. I mean, if you just look at my diary for this week, I have 4 or 5 various meetings, many of which will touch on how AI will impact various parts, whether it's AI on a telephone, a mobile phone to help with healthcare, to tackle COVID. Or this morning, I had a very interesting meeting on autonomous transport, where I heard from the Ministry of Defence, who are running trials to explore how they could use autonomous vehicles to support infantry troops in the field to make sure that they get the best use of their highly skilled personnel. And not only are they experimenting with how they might do that, but this is also changing the very way in which they embed new technology into the MOD and then subsequently procure it. Because obviously with a rapidly changing technology, you can't have a 10-year rollout plan for procuring something now that will be delivered in 2030. We've got to be much more fleet of foot. I also heard from the Deputy Head Centre for Connected and Autonomous Vehicles. Now, he laid out how the UK wants to be the breeding ground, shall I say, for personal autonomous vehicles, and how the UK has invested in some of the test beds needed and to create a UK ecosystem to support development of personal autonomous vehicles, whether that's vehicles that will do everything everywhere, everything somewhere, or some things everywhere. But again, it was an ambitious aim to get the UK front and centre. And then finally, I heard from someone who is very interested in autonomous marine systems. And again, the UK is well placed to lead that with our very rich historic marine heritage that goes back centuries, that is supported by institutions across London, ready and willing to tackle some of the issues around how you might regulate, insure, and support the development of that. And again, we can do that on a global scale. So, as I said, I think the UK is making a significant contribution to AI globally, and I think we are well placed to make sure that we get our fair share of the jobs and the investment that that can bring. And as Tim outlined, I believe that this APPG has a very important role to play in doing that, in bringing that investment, in bringing that knowledge and securing it here in the UK. And I hope that you will agree that our previous programme and future programme gives you the opportunity to have an input into that, and aligns very much with what the government's ambitions for AI are in the UK. But of course, our output really is only as good as our input, and our input is you. So can I thank all of you here and the wider AI community for all you have done to support us and give us the input we needed to feed into government. And can I encourage you to continue to engage with us to ensure that we are the authoritative voice in Parliament on all issues AI related. We really could not do what we do without you. So a huge, huge thank you, and thank you for joining us.